Christian McCaffrey in the open field. Inside the 30. Inside the 20. McCaffrey touchdown.
Okay, we are live. Carolina Fandom, welcome. We've got a big show here for you tonight. We have with us, of course, our regulars, Cowboy Joe in the corner. We've got Brittany Schmidt and her husband, Tom. And we are joined by John Chapman, who is a draft analyst, also is he runs the 49ers Rush podcast. And we are extremely proud and pleased to bring John on to talk to us about draft picks for the upcoming NFL draft for the Carolina Panthers. Real quick, just first, since there's four of us here, including myself, we'll start with you, Cowboy Joe. How are you here tonight?
Oh, I'm excited. You know what? We got Dak. We signed Dak. I'm happy with that.
All right.
That made my Christmas for the next at least 4 seasons.
Awesome. And Brittany, by the way, is the biggest Panthers fan in the state of New Jersey, and she's looking forward to making her home, and Tom, making their home in the Carolinas and South Carolina here soon. So welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. How are you guys tonight?
We're doing awesome. We're really always happy to come on and just chat Panthers football. And well, he throws in some stuff about the Cowboys here and there. But
I can talk football, but I can never get tired of the Cowboys. Joe knows this.
He's a closet Panther fan.
Exactly.
We're not going to hold that against him, not at all. And also, too, I want to mention that this show is also partly sponsored by SI Panthers Sports Illustrated. So thanks them for helping us out there. John, I know you're a San Francisco 49ers fan, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's a proud franchise. It's a proud city. We are happy to have you. Number one, for your knowledge on the NFL draft and prospects that Carolina could potentially target. So let's get right into it. I mean, there's a lot of talk about quarterback here with the Panthers at pick 8, and we want to go over with you all the possible quarterbacks. I know you've got some film that we can break down, that you already have broken down, that we can talk about. But real quick, first of all, I guess let's just say we'll start with the first quarterback here that I have lined up for us here, and that's Justin Fields. Talk to us a little bit about him before we go to the tape. Talk to us about him as far as like a scouting report, what kind of quarterback he is, what would Carolina need to do to get him, that kind of thing. The floor is yours.
Well, yeah, first I just want to say thanks for having me on. Big fan, Jeff, and awesome to make some new friends and hang out and just talk some football, even if it's not 49ers related. Man, I love this time of year.
I got
this is
two
like
49er
Christmas.
fan friends. My friend Morgan and my friend Danny are
There we go.
49ers
Shout out
fans.
to the Morgan and Danny. I love it. So Justin Fields is incredible, first off. And whenever you look at this entire draft, really, whenever you're looking at the quarterback position, the top 4 quarterbacks that are getting most of the buzz, absolutely incredible off-platform, dynamic type quarterbacks that it's the Mahomes effect that has swept the NFL. You know, if you go back just 5 to 10 years ago, everybody wanted that 6'4" kind of statue in the pocket, bigger body size, all those things. That's gone out the window. I mean, if you just look at 2 of the most recent first round picks, not counting Joe Burrow, neither one 6 foot tall, smaller stature guys. Everything is about these dangerous, deep, off-platform throws, and whenever you look at Justin Fields, he has it in spades. You can make the argument the most athletic quarterback in this draft by far. Whenever he came out of high school, it was him and Trevor Lawrence 1 and 2. The talent is top-notch. The athleticism, the NFL body, 6'3", 223, top-notch. Arm talent, great. There are some questions, and if you went back to right before the 2020 season started, Justin Fields was the consensus number 2 pick. But as the season went on, it's no fault to Justin Fields that he's not mentioned as the lock number 2 pick anymore. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But he just kind of stayed where he was. And there are some questions for sure. Way too many sacks. And of the top 5 quarterbacks, if you're going to include Mac Jones in that, his average time to release was 3.11 seconds. You can't do that in the NFL. And whenever you especially notice that he's coming from the most quarterback-friendly offense in the entire college system, excuse me, and we've had some issues with, you don't want to scout the helmet too much, but this system that Ohio State has doesn't translate to the NFL as well. Dwayne Haskins, you can look at that, and there's some other quarterbacks that you could throw in there as well. But this kid has talent well above Haskins or any other, Ohio State quarterback that's come out in recent memory. So you love this kid. He's so fun to watch, tough as nails, and he has all of the talent. His ceiling is as high as Trevor Lawrence. There's no doubt about that.
So let's take a look at his film. I know you provided us with a short video here to look at that you already have provided some commentary for us. We're going to watch that, and then we'll talk about it briefly, and then I want to show you another tape that that breaks down Fields as well. It's another a tape without audio that we can break down and talk about him. So let's bring up Fields here right now.
I got a pistol set here. Like the play action. Ooh,
Yeah.
dang, that was good. That was really
That
good.
was a dime right there.
So it looks like he's like thinking about running, right? You can see him tuck the ball here. Pulls up, throws it fading back. Man, look at he's got the arm to do this. It's not an elite arm, but again, we've seen this already. Open up the hip, the left hip and shoulder is what you're looking for. And again, this is all here. This is all core. This is all arm. You love the place that the ball is coming from. He's not side arming it. He's not shorting that. He's getting the ball up. Just throws a nice catchable ball. He is so great at throwing to a location, leading the wide receiver, just putting it where his guy can get it. So good at that. Ball placement is elite. I make the joke later on in that breakdown that if you put him in an NFL skills challenge where you're like hitting the buckets and all that stuff, this guy would be number 1 in the NFL. You'll see him throw corner routes towards the pylon in the back of the end zone, and the wide receivers catch it most times. But if they don't, that ball lands on the platform more often than not. Like, he is just one of those guys that has the vision. As he releases, he's throwing to a point. So he's an anticipatory quarterback. He doesn't have to see somebody open to throw it. He knows the location that's safe because he protects the ball really, really well.
What would you say his downside is? And then after you answer that, is there anyone that he kind of reminds you of? What's his player comp?
So player comp's a little bit different. He's a little bit smaller Cam Newton and plays that way. He locks onto his wide receivers a little too much. That's evidence in 3.1 seconds time of release. That's way too long. 31 sacks on the year behind a stellar NFL prototype offensive line. And he's in a quarterback-friendly system. So processing through reads faster, that's going to be an issue at the next level, but there's no reason why he can't do it. And I'll say this, some rankings, he's personally my quarterback number 4. Having said that, if the Jets took him number 2, it's not a reach, if that makes sense. This is a very stout quarterback class at the top of the draft. Next year will not be, by the way, unless, you get another Joe Burrow coming out of nowhere or Zach Wilson coming out of nowhere, which probably will happen. But we knew there were 3 elite prospects coming into this year. They all held up. Well, Trey Lance only got to play 1 game, but yeah, I really like Justin Fields. My player comp for him, he's a smaller Cam Newton with way more accuracy. But you see it even whenever he runs. It's a very patient, physical style run. He has speed. That's not how he runs. And if you look at, he averaged 4.2 yards per carry on the ground, but 19 touchdowns. So he is a first down touchdown runner. You're not Lamar Jackson calling draws in the 1st and 10. That's not what it is. But 3rd and 2, this dude's going to fight for you to keep the drive going.
Let's go ahead and play some more video of Justin Fields, and I just kind of want you to break down what you're seeing. And I'll go ahead and launch this here.
Yeah, so this is a positive one just because you saw him get through more than one read. Okay, he takes off, and again, smart. This dude does not get hurt. And even whenever he does get hurt, he takes the hits. He is tough as nails. Here's another pass where he's just, again, that location. Watch it as he rolls to his right. He knows where this ball's going. Watch where he puts it in a place that is very, very safe. Throws on the run so well. I mean, hits that back shoulder perfectly. Here's just a sprint right speed option. Patient, not a speed runner. Watch how he sets up his runs. He ducks inside to set up the block. Walks in untouched. I mean, the kid's got it all. He really, really does. The speed's there, more of a strider than a speedster, but because he's so long, man, he makes up so much space. It's a problem for the defensive pursuit angles, and you can kind of see how guys have to reach for his ankles time and time again. But you don't want him running this much in the NFL. Like that was a delayed QB draw on 1st and 10, or yeah, you got it labeled a counter. That's right. But again, you don't want that in the NFL. But worst comes to worst, he's going to pick you up some first downs. There's no doubt about that. The kid's explosive.
No, he's
all right.
I agree with you completely.
Sure.
And again, this play right here. I'm sorry, QB Joe, Cowboy Joe. This one's huge because the deep out, that is the measure of quarterback's arms. Mm-hmm. And you see he has no issue whatsoever. The quarterback arm, it's there. That is a rope. Sorry, Cowboy. Go ahead, bro.
No, the only thing I have against him is that he holds the ball too long. And that's
I was just about to say that.
I'm just gonna blow him up.
He makes me nervous with how long he holds the ball.
Lots of shotgun too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's not a pro. It's the least pro style offense of any draft eligible quarterback. Mm-hmm. And if you look at a lot of these plays, there's not a defender 5 yards to the wide receiver. Mm-hmm. It is wide open every single time. And that's because of the college system, which you got to give a props to the coaching staff there, but it does not translate to the NFL. You don't get those same throwing angles, windows.
Well, by the way, I want to give a shout out to Draft Genius, who was able to provide these videos here that I just kind of stripped the audio from. But I do want to say where I got them from, and that's an excellent follow on YouTube. But keep talking. I mean, I can see the Cam Newton. Maybe it's just the number one, or it's his ability to we just saw that play where he's throwing on the run. I mean, he's got athleticism, definitely.
Oh yeah. His core strength is top notch. That's what's so key about the off-platform throws. You'll see him deliver from anywhere, and he can just do it all with upper body torque and arm strength, which is, again, Patrick Mahomes-esque. One of the things that makes him so dangerous. Yes, Brittany.
Tom had a question.
Let me ask you this, because I'm an Ohio State fan myself, and I've seen a lot of Justin. And what you're saying is true. One thing I question with him is his ability to get to the line and read the defense and anticipate the blitz. Like you said, he takes a lot of sacks, but that's something I think he needs to work on when he gets to the NFL, which is not a huge thing, but that's something.
But I also think if he's struggling with that at the pace of a college, the NFL is a lot faster. So now you have that defense that's moving at an NFL pace, not a college pace. How well will he adjust?
And that's going to be a different learning curve for every single quarterback. So if I have to put, not necessarily the term is always NFL ready. Like who's going to need to sit? First off, they all need to sit. Mm-hmm. And it depends on the type of teams you go to. I'm telling you right now, the learning curve that Justin Fields has over the other top 5 quarterbacks in this class is the largest. It's the largest. Now, again, that depends on where he goes. Jacksonville with Urban Meyer, they're going to be running this exact same offense we're watching right now. That's not a very difficult conceptual offense to run. So Trevor Lawrence is already ahead of the game. If you're looking at the most difficult NFL situations to step into, you're talking New England Patriots, you're talking San Francisco 49ers, not necessarily Carolina. What Joe Brady put in place there was incredible. And again, one of the best play callers, college or NFL. So where you land matters. Where you land is. And I think that Justin Fields could step in. It would be a disservice to him. We've seen, top tier quarterbacks step in bad situations and it doesn't go well. Now you're going to have to spend to get them. And so if you're going to trade up and get somebody like Justin Fields, are you going to be able to let him sit for 3 to 4 weeks? Very similar to what we saw Justin Herbert last year, right? I think that's the mold that every NFL team wants to go to, unless you're in a classic rebuild like Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. They weren't going to win. They didn't care. Yeah, go ahead. Go play. But I don't think the Panthers are in that situation.
Well, here's my take on it now with the NFL quarterbacks. Look at the Jets, for example, with Sam Darnold. If they stick with Sam Darnold, this is year, 4 for him? If Sam goes out and shows them they have the 5th-year option, then you got to pay the quarterback. These quarterbacks can't sit 2-3 years anymore because they got to show you what
they got to show you.
The salary cap is getting out of control for quarterbacks.
It is.
Obviously Dak, $40 million, and I'm not saying he's not worth it, but the quarterback's got to show you what he can do consistently. It can't just be 1 year and off because then you're stuck.
Especially if you're trading up for that, right? Because to be honest with you, I don't think there's any way Carolina can sit at 8 and get Fields.
Carson Wentz, there's a prime example.
Yeah. And they got a Super Bowl out of it. So it's like, all right, it kind of worked.
He didn't win it.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't win it.
Hey, so John, I got a question. You mentioned that Fields was your number 4 quarterback. We're going to get into Zach Wilson next, but do you want to reveal who your top quarterback is yet, or do you want to wait until we show the video here?
So no, I'll give a spoiler. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is my clear-cut number 1 guy. And so I do like a tiered ranking system. So I have Trevor Lawrence by himself. I have Zach Wilson in tier 2 by himself. Lance and Justin Fields, man, they're so great. And I think they're closer to Zach Wilson than Zach Wilson is to Trevor Lawrence. Just to put things. So just because I say he's my 4th, I love Justin Fields. He could be rookie of the year. That guy is incredible. I would have put him ahead of almost everybody not named Burrow last year, to be honest with you. He would have been the number 2 quarterback if he came out. I really like Justin Fields. And so when people hear me say, oh, he's your 4th quarterback, no. I love this guy. He goes number 2 overall. That's a heck of a pick.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, let's go into Zach Wilson. And this is your video that you broke down.
Let's see what he can do. And he's going through a lot of his reads. He didn't have pressure, but he bailed here. I wonder why. A 3-man rush. That pocket is clean, but he does like to play outside the numbers.
The blue Boise field.
There's no pressure.
Oh,
so
anywhere,
gross, that field. But he's gonna bail, and you see this often with kind of younger quarterbacks. He didn't have to go anywhere. No. Let's see what he can do. Ooh, chunking it deep. Got him. This is incredible. I mean, that is a throw. That's an NFL level throw. These are the plays that separate Zach Wilson from others. Just throwing it easy on the run. I mean, freaking looks like a baseball player there, chunking it to home plate. Puts it up. Very catchable ball. Perfect spot down the field. That's a hell of a play on 3rd and 4. It's easy to fall in love with this kid, man. Oh, it's so easy. You just watch it, and it's just like, woo! There's so many plays. Like when I'm going through game film, and so like whenever I'm doing my breakdowns, I've usually already gone through several films or game pieces, whatever. But whenever I'm just watching it by myself and I'm typing, I just type kind of what I feel. I keep typing the word dangerous. Like he goes for a kill shot all the damn time. Doesn't matter the score.
I'm about that life.
Right. Yeah, about that life. Go get it, man. He's a fun story too. Because he wasn't good. He's a 3-year starter, and he was bad. He was not a draft eligible or graded quarterback at all. He goes and has labrum surgery on his throwing arm. And he does have a weird kind of funky Phillip Rivers-esque release. It's not as dramatic as Phillip Rivers, but it's not it's a 3-quarter release. It doesn't come over the top. Like we saw the play from Justin Fields where it was textbook. You're not going to ever get that from Zach Wilson. But the ball comes out just fine. Nice zip, good rotation. Accuracy is not an issue with him. But, man, he is so dangerous. And so whenever you're looking at quarterbacks, and I'm not comparing this to that player, but he's the antithesis of Mitchell Trubisky. He's the exact opposite. All the reasons why Mitchell Trubisky was not successful is what will make Zach Wilson successful. He is the opposite of those things. He doesn't just go for the layup, and if it's safe, okay, let's just throw out of bounds, punt's a good play. No. This guy's going to strive to put up 40 points a game every single game, and that's just what he's going to do. Everything that he does is he wants the home run. He will overlook the check down almost every time. Now, some coaches are going to like that. Some people maybe not. But in today's NFL, you're exactly correct.
Sorry. So let's take a look at some more film.
I love
Zach
it.
Wilson.
Yeah, he's fun, man. 32 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And one of the things, again, questions that we don't get to see too much in film. He had the weakest schedule, and I include Trey Lance in this. He did not play top-tier competition. He had 5 games versus Power 5 conference teams. He went 2-3, 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And he didn't get to play any of those in 2020. Washington wanted to play BYU, and BYU turned them down, which was a bummer. But you just see here the out route there. Location is just perfect. And he's just one of those guys. He's going to throw what he sees. He can be in a complex system. That's fine. Again, BYU is not complex, and you can see his feel for the pocket. You don't ever see him really in pressure. He will bail early, very, very out. He loves to be outside the pocket. So partner him up with somebody that's going to let him be him. But, man, his ball placement and just he looks deep first every single play. He's a killer, man.
Yeah.
Just every time. Oh, man, he's fun to watch. Just big-time thrower. That's just what it is.
I'd like to see him get a little bit more pressure and see how he does under duress.
Yeah.
We know that he's accurate deep, which is impressive for the fact that he's throwing the ball downfield so much. But how is he with pressure? Because that NFL defenses are going to be coming after these quarterbacks, and I'm just kind of curious: is he someone that, like, let's just say fantasy wise, right, with McCaffrey? If the Panthers got Wilson, I mean, he's not a check down. He's not Captain Check Down, is he? No. So this is not going to be that conducive to Christian McCaffrey having, big numbers and stats as a receiver, at least.
Well, but look at it this way. He throws it down. DJ Moore and Robbie will get down there and he can get him the ball, then game over.
There will not be near as many people in the box if this guy is your signal caller. I will say that. Yeah. And you brought up pressure a while ago, Jeff. Just from Pro Football Focus's numbers, he had a 74.1 pressure grade, but he wasn't under pressure very much at all. And so he gets rid of the ball relatively quickly. You see the awesome shovel pass there. So many shortstop type baseball player throws where he can throw it from all different arm angles. You see some sidearm, underhand, pitch stuff, whatever else. But you see him, he does not get flustered. There's not any situation that's too big for him. Yeah. And he will constantly keep the play. The teammates love him. They love him. You watch him whenever you watch the broadcast on the sidelines, people gravitate to him. High energy. You're talking Baker Mayfield, the positive of Baker Mayfield personality traits, not the negatives. I mean, the kid, he's got it. And again, a little background on him and his family. His family, they're diehard Utes. His dad played football for Utah. So it was a big deal for him to go to BYU, which was his arch nemesis forever. But he adopted that culture and he went in, and I mean, they love him there. Oh, he's fun, man. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see his feet though. Like it's a 7-on-7 backyard Thanksgiving Day game every single play. He's wild. Now, can you calm him down and get him to play in a structure? That's kind of going to be key. Because some people are going to be not like what he does. Those probably aren't going to be the teams that trade up for him. But again, right now, Vegas odds have him as the consensus number 2 pick, likely to go number 2, whether that's the Jets or somebody else. Right. Vegas usually does it, the slot. They don't pay attention to the team just because of all the trades. Right. But I think, consensusly speaking, okay, let's say the majority of teams are going to have Trevor Lawrence, their number 1 quarterback. I think it's very fair to say probably 20 out of 32 teams will have Zach Wilson number 2. Now, some issues, body type. He does not have an NFL body currently, 6'3", 210. He could add 10 to 15 pounds with ease. You see some of the close-ups, the weight room. I think he worked out a lot, but he's not at NFL standards for, taking hits and all those things. So you can see him run. He is mobile. Averaged 3 yards per carry as a career, had 13 rushing touchdowns in 3 years. So he is by far the least mobile of the top 4 quarterbacks. Mac Jones and him, he's a little bit more mobile than Mac Jones, but you don't want him running a lot. That's not what he's more of, let's see here, kind of Aaron Rodgers, how he scrambles to throw it deep. That's his mindset, not scramble for a first down often. He can do it, but it's not really his bread and butter.
Gotcha. All right. Well, hey, that's Zach Wilson for us.
He doesn't get picked second.
What's that?
I'm afraid he's going to land in Philly if nobody trades up.
Oof.
Ooh, that would be bad.
Philly would have to do it all over again to move up to the second pick in the draft.
No, if he doesn't go second, I'm saying, and nobody does, because the next drafts are Tua. Then Miami's not going to get another quarterback.
What about Atlanta?
Another quarterback. The next quarterback.
They might, because next year is so bad. Or not necessarily so bad, but just lower in terms of quarterback.
Are you going to pay two for Miami? Are you going to pay 2 potential first rounders? You're not.
Well, I'll say this, and this is the most quarterback needy NFL year in a decade. The old, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, all those guys are finally starting to fade off, even if they're coming back. But Steelers are still trying to get a quarterback. But if you look at last year, the teams that had top 5 quarterbacks, the Packers were in that list. What did they do? They traded up in the first round and gave up a huge amount for a quarterback they never even made active. So even though, it's easy to look at the draft order and say, okay, this team needs a QB, this team needs a QB. Every team that does not have a top 3 quarterback under 30 years old, they're in the quarterback market.
Yeah, with the Falcons being number 4, if he drops that low, Falcons.
That's what I was saying. The Falcons possibly could be.
And, another tie, Justin Fields from right outside Atlanta. Hometown kid. I mean, that fits. A lot of people forget he was recruited to Georgia. He went to Georgia, couldn't beat out Fromm, got upset, and then transferred because he wanted to play right away. He was the number 2 player coming out of high school that year. So there's a lot of ties to Atlanta. I think that would make sense. And I think it'd probably be best fit for Justin Fields because you would sit behind Matt Ryan for a year and a half, then step in. But yeah, we'll see.
All right, let's move on to our next QB here, Trey Lance, who the Panthers got, 3 people? Matt Rule, you've got Scott Fitterer, and there was another person who's going to the North Dakota State Pro Day tomorrow for Trey Lance, and of course Dylan Redunz too, the offensive tackle. But let's talk about Trey Lance real quick here. And John, this is your video that you queued up for us with your commentary.
Out of a play. This was by Dylan Redunz, but let's watch Trey Lance with pressure right in his face. It's hard to find weaknesses. Also, how many freaking progressions does he go through? Watch him read to his right, the tight end, I believe here. Then he's going to check down to his running back, then go deep. 3 progressions. 1, 2, 3. Deep ball check. Look at the placement.
That's great.
Yeah, and that's a pro-style offense, too. He's got a cannon. This dude can rocket launch everything. Steps into the throw, into pressure. I mean, this guy's coming for him. Steps into it. I mean, gets laid out. Look at the placement of that ball. Whew. You've got what's called the red line for wide receivers, and the place that Trey Lance puts this, the wide receiver is the only one that can get it, and he's got plenty of room. So halfway through between the numbers and the sideline, usually you have a red line in practice for wide receivers. And so look where he catches this ball. I mean, he's got a good 3 yards. Absolutely incredible ball. Perfectly safe with pressure in his face. Yeah, I'm curious to see the distance of this throw, where he let it go at. Okay, so let's see here. He's going to let it go about the 45. Nope, right at the 40. Okay, so 10 yards to the 50. Stepping back, too. He didn't even step into it. Boom, right there. Right at about the
13-yard
line. Let's try that again. So 10 yards to the 50. pressure in his face. Caught it right there at the 13. So you're talking 37. That's 47 yards in the air. You know, just touch pass. A 47-yard touch pass with pressure in his face. So, man, huge, terrible play there for Reduns. Huge positive play for Trey Lance. Look at it, getting through 3 reads.
I like this
to the
kid
NFL
too much.
so well.
I apologize. I'm a big Trey Lance guy.
Yeah,
he
I can
is.
tell.
He's
And I
incredible.
can see why. I mean, it's very watching that. It's very exciting to watch those highlights to see what he's capable of. And going back to what Jeff had said regarding pressure, I think there's really not a question of how does this guy act when he's under pressure. He's very calm and he still is able to get things done and make the plays, which you need against NFL defenses.
And I'll say this too. The most pro style offense is Trey Lance. If you look at what the Bison do, and you can go back to why Carson Wentz was able to start week 1, if you same system, same coaching staff for the most part. When Carson Wentz was drafted, and you can go into whatever you want about Carson Wentz, but they traded away Sam Bradford that offseason because they said, this kid's ready week 1. We don't have to slowly bring him in. He's ready. Trey Lance called all of his own protections at the line. Full use of audibles. Nobody else in this draft can say that. Mac Jones probably would be number 2 in that list. But Trey Lance, his longest completion air yards, 62 yards in the air. The dude has a cannon. Strongest arm in this draft by far.
Let's go ahead and take a look at some more Trey Lance. And you know what, John? It seems like a lot of times we're looking at some of these quarterbacks that are prospects, not just this year, past years, in the future. And the comp player it seems like it's always like Russell Wilson, right? It's like, oh man, that's a Russell Wilson throw, or he looks like Russell Wilson in the open field. I mean, shoot, we were just looking at Zach Wilson. I mean the baseball arm throw that I've saw from him in a few different plays, it's like that's Russell Wilson. It's like this guy also lands.
Did you see him Superman?
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
I think there's a few things that separate Trey Lance in this group. Now he's raw, and you have to bring up again. It's North Dakota State, Missouri Valley Conference. Okay, competition level's low. There's no doubt about that. 1 year as a starter, that's an issue. Didn't play in 2020, not his fault. Missouri Valley Conference postponed their season till the spring. He got 1 game in, won that game. It was probably his worst game as a starter, but still won the game through his first interception. But you watch his athleticism and footwork, his feet are immaculate. You watch his drops, they are Russell Wilson picture perfect-esque. Like he's a dancer below the waist. Like his feet are incredible. So you talk about why, again, staying with North Dakota State, why did Carson Wentz, why was he so bad this year? It goes back to his fundamentals.
Got a tight end.
He had no
and a wing
platform.
set. Oh, gosh. Look how he crashed down. Holy.
Oh, we got some Dylan Redun's film here.
He's at his
right
best
here.
when he down blocks, man. He's
I
just
like
going to
this
kill
kid
this
too.
guy and get to the second level. Watch Redun's. Boom.
Oh, is that Redun's?
He understands
Yeah.
crashing.
Oops, I hit the wrong button.
Oh, that's all right.
Hips, gets his
That's
hands
a good
on his
clip.
Yeah,
hips,
this is
just watch him
offensive
turn,
tackle Dylan
and
Redun's
then cut
also
off
on
the
North
backer.
Dakota State, who is going to be obviously
That is
important
so
at the pro day
damn
tomorrow.
hard to do. Block one guy all the way to his right, then stop and come back and block to his left.
He's got that
I mean,
first
he gets it. That's an inside zone
He's nasty,
or
man.
power scheme. Gosh,
How big is Trey Lance?
so many things to like from these two, just freaking studs. I don't care if it's North Dakota State. These guys are going to be good pros.
How
Look at
big
the
is
second level?
Trey
Sit
Lance?
down. He's not done
Trey-
with you. Sit down again. Oh, you want some?
So Trey Lance comes in at 6'3", 224. And so him and Justin Fields, they're almost identical body styles. I would say Justin Fields has more wiggle, and I would say Trey Lance is a little thicker, just the way that he's built and the way that he runs. And so, another thing that I will say about Trey Lance, he's a very patient runner. He is super smart, does not take hits. He is very, very savvy with where he goes, but sometimes they would do quarterback power with him and he'd run behind the shoulder pads on designed quarterback draws. The dude can play. He can do whatever it is that you want. 14 rushing touchdowns, 6.5 yards per rush. And people say, okay, here's the criticism. Look who he's playing against, the level of competition.
Well, Dylan Redunz, who we might talk about a little bit, he goes to the Senior Bowl. He was the player of the week at the Senior Bowl. So you could say it doesn't matter. Players play. And that's what it's about. And this kid has been able to work all year on just watch him. That's a 49ers play. This is a Kyle Shanahan play that you're seeing right here. And he runs it with perfection. Look at his hips whenever he's out in the pocket. That dude has a bazooka of an arm. Oh, and guess what? He's never lost a game and threw one interception his entire career.
Would you call him a more accurate, say, Josh Allen?
So let's do Josh Allen before he went to the pros. I think that works. I think that's, you were talking about comps. My comp was Josh Allen. Now Trey Lance has a cannon. It's not a Josh Allen cannon. Okay. So you have to put that into perspective because Josh Allen probably has the strongest or second strongest arm in the NFL. I think that
it's like 6'7" or 6'6".
Yeah. There's a difference there. I think that Trey Lance would be kind of a top 10 arm. Right. But I think that out of the draft eligible quarterbacks, I would say Trey Lance has the strongest arm. Now, the areas where Trey Lance, perhaps his accuracy dips is whenever he tries to bullet it into a tight window over the middle. That's not his strong suit. Deep balls and read progressions. He gets to his third read so often. So the quarterback kind of processing speed is top notch with this kid. Reads right to left field. So it's not even half field reads. But I mean, you can see here, he is a competitor. He wants to fight every single play. I really, really do like this kid. If I had my choice as the 49ers, he's the absolute perfect fit, played in a very similar offense. This is who I want. If I could choose the 49ers, I'm the GM, and I have my pick of Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, or Justin Fields. I understand Zach Wilson. I get it. But, man, Trey Lance I just think would be the perfect fit.
There you have it. Wow, that's some high praise right there. And I do like what I see in Trey Lance. Do I wish that he had a little bit more of experience against stronger competition? Absolutely, right. But Josh Allen didn't have that at Wyoming, and we saw how that turned out, right? So
yeah. I mean, it took a year and a half. But that's what you got to do. And so again, yes. Do I want Trey Lance starting week 1 for any team in the NFL? No, that's bad for Trey Lance. That's bad for the team. You pair him up with somebody that has a starter, like let's just say Teddy Bridgewater. You let him sit 6 weeks, see what happens if you're in playoff contention or whatever else, injuries, they happen. That's the way to step forward. I think that's the path to success for this kid. I really, really do.
All right, so let's talk about Mac Jones. He was the guy at the Senior Bowl.
Before we go on to that, though, Jeff, Tom had a quick question.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't more of a question. It's more or less just a statement. People might criticize the competition he plays, but his ability to make those throws, it doesn't matter who he's playing. Making those throws downfield or in those tight windows, it don't matter who it is. That talent doesn't progress through who he's playing. That's my only statement on Trey Lance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yep. All right. So back to Mac Jones, who's next on our list. And the Panthers had a really long opportunity to see what he can do with the Senior Bowl by being the coaching staff there. From what I understand, they like him, right? No, and people are saying I don't want Mac Jones.
No.
I get it. I get it, right? He's number 4 on the list of these 4. I'm thinking, right? But what if Carolina? What if he's Carolina's guy?
No,
so let's talk about Mac Jones. Anything before I start the video here, John? About Mac Jones?
I totally feel, Brittany. I get it. The 49ers picked 12. So Mac Jones is a realistic opportunity for us. So I've been trying to talk myself into this pre-draft for a while now. But I will say this, okay? Mac Jones has things that people in this draft do not have. Okay, you got brought up pressure with 2 of the quarterbacks we've talked about. The best quarterback in this draft, diagnosing blitzes, where to attack, quick get off, the quickest release. It's Mac Jones. He has a place in the NFL. There's no doubt about it. Now, does he have the ceiling that any of these other quarterbacks have? The answer is hell no, not even close. But there is a place. Look at who just won the Super Bowl. Now, is he Tom Brady? No, but he's a Tom Brady style quarterback. You put Mac Jones in assist.
Andy Dalton.
I don't. I think I don't have a problem with Kirk Cousins, to be honest with you. I think that's a very fair comp.
I'll say Mac Jones does have a place in the NFL, but it's not with Carolina, in my opinion, because the knock on Mac Jones, and we'll probably get into it, is his physical capabilities. Like, he's limited with that, and that's the knock on Teddy. So why? I mean, why are they thinking the same thing?
If you're gonna criticize, and that's exactly what I was about to say. You took the words right out of my mouth. It's my team, dang it. So, you know, if you're going to criticize your current starter for physical limitations, I can't talk to that.
And that's Matt Rule's 101, is he wants players that have supreme top tier athleticism and then coach them into the position. So yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah. I think that he is a fit though, because he fits with your offensive scheme. Now, is he what you go into? Is he your plan A, B, C, or D? No, but he's a plan E. And with you picking at 8, and if you can't trade up, this is kind of where it is.
Plan E. Someone get a hashtag on that.
All right. Plan Z. Okay.
All right. Let's go to the film on Mac Jones here, John. This is you breaking him down.
Let's see what he's got.
All right. See if you can impress me.
Like that. Again, watch his read progression as we check out. He's going to read the running back, number 22, Najee Harris, coming out of the backfield. Watch his eyes, and he's going to hit the crosser coming across. Looks it off, checks it down. Jeez. He knows exactly where it is.
He's a chess player,
eyes. Man. I mean, he's going into his throwing motion before he even looks over.
Yep.
This is a guy that knows the offense. Cerebral. Efficient. These are the ideas that come to mind. He's looking for a real wheel route coming out of the backfield, but it gets covered really, really well by 27. So as you see the corner bell, I like this. 27, you can barely see on your right side. He's going to bell to the running back. So you can see here, he's belling. So he's just going to replace, okay, if he's not going to be the flat defender and they're going to roll a safety over the top, therefore there's no flat defender. So you just check it right here underneath and replace. If he's belling, that's where we're going to attack.
If you're a McCaffrey owner, fantasy, Mac Jones should be your quarterback one.
Not highlight
really
plays,
honest with you,
but smart plays.
Yes.
And I'll say this too, Jalen Waddle Devontae Smith was asked, and he shouldn't answer this question, but he was asked in an interview, who do you prefer, Tua or Mac Jones? He goes, Mac Jones. Mac Jones. Not even close. And so the doc is this, and Brittany, I'm with you. I don't want physical limitations. Listen, this guy completed 33 out of 56 deep balls. That is bananas. The most quarterback efficient deep ball thrower, just statistically, on balls that travel 20 yards or more. Is he going to throw it 60 yards? No. His longest completion was 57 yards, though. It doesn't happen a lot in the NFL. Now, the questions are this. He had a Heisman Trophy running back. Should have had a Heisman Trophy, wide receiver, running back. Jalen Waddle. I mean, he has an NFL team around him right now. Mm-hmm. And so I think that is the key to success for this guy. If you put him on a bad team, let's say he got drafted by the Jaguars, he would be out of the NFL. It'd be a Josh Rosen type story. You put him behind a decent offensive line with some weapons, he will have success. He's going to mirror what you surround him with. So it's like the goldfish theory, right? The bigger the pond, the larger they get. That's who Mac Jones is. He's not a guy that's going to drive a team on his own.
He'd be a good fit for like a Pittsburgh type team,
Right. Pittsburgh.
You give him the keys to a nice car. He'd drive it nicely,
The sad thing is, I think this kid goes top 12. I really, really do. There's just too many quarterback needy teams, and he's so clean. He has no negative plays. When you watch him, one of my favorite things is quarterback awareness, and Aaron Rodgers has the most of it in the NFL, where he always catches people substituting on the sidelines. You see Mac Jones do that time and time again every game. He knows where everybody is. He is a field general, and he does have some physical limitations, but it's not that bad. He has the highest pass yards per play in NCAA history, 11.3 pass yards per play. The 49ers, Kyle Shanahan's usually at the top of the list with like a 9.7 or something like that. This guy led NCAA history in yards per pass play. he just gets it to his guys, and his ball placement's good. He will throw up 50-50 balls like you see here. He's got the tools. If this was 1985, he would be the number 1 or number 2 quarterback off the board. But we're not there anymore.
No.
He reminds me of those quarterbacks.
You're exactly correct.
The vision that he has, it's just those 90s quarterbacks, the Kellys, the Marinos,
Yeah.
the Elways. Those are the quarterbacks that, traditional, that was the quarterback role. But now that it's involved even more with running, I think,
Right.
yeah, he's in that case of a Bill Belichick trying to push up to get him. I think Belichick will.
It'd be a perfect fit. And if you look at the quarterbacks he's gone after, and even the backups, Brian Hoyer, Jimmy Garoppolo, Tom Brady, like all these guys, Jared Stidham, they fit this mold.
Mm-hmm.
This is who they are. Plus, you can go back to Nick Saban's ties with Belichick way back whenever they used to coach together in Cleveland. Like, there's so much there. Patriots always go after Alabama players.
Well,
49ers, not so much. They hate Alabama players, but that's okay. That's a different story.
Well, Cowboy Joe would know this. Could you see Jerry Jones wheeling and dealing with the Patriots to get more picks, trading back so they could get Mac Jones?
I would.
I think that's the spot where he's going to go, that 8 to 12. Used to the conversation was, oh man, Mac Jones might go in the first. That's a foregone conclusion now. But with how many quarterback needy teams there are, he's going in the first round. The question is he going in the top 15? Some people will have him ahead of Trey Lance. I guarantee that, just because of the type of football that he brings, limited negative plays, things like that. I think Mac Jones will be ahead of Trey Lance on some teams' draft boards, depending on what it is they're looking for.
I see Detroit doing it. Pulling the gun on him, and saying, you know what, we got Goff, but let's just sit this kid out for at least a year or two. Yeah,
let him trade back like 3 or 4 spots and then get Mac Jones. I think that's a fit. And I could totally see. It seems like Detroit's basically said, we're out on this year's draft. They turned down your number 8 pick, right? From Carolina, at least according to rumors. They wanted future ones. And this is a weird draft because you're not getting to know these guys. So if you're a head coach that's like, man, I'm scared of Jamarcus Russell. You can see all these guys with this incredible talent. I want guys that love football. You don't get to interview them. You don't get to be in the same room with them like you usually do. So you're trading up in the draft, the most important position in all pro sports, and you're basing your job on a guy you haven't even had a face-to-face conversation with. There are going to be teams that are like, no, I'm not gambling that much. So I think that is going to take place, especially for newer coaches this year. Used to be new coaches equal new quarterbacks.
Is he a fit for
this
Denver?
Year? Yeah. Denver, I would say Mac Jones is the antithesis to Drew Lock. So that might make sense. Everything that John Elway has done has been the big, tall rocket arm, and it hasn't worked. He's like 0 for 4. Might be time to change it up.
Well, Hey, we've got Kyle Trask next in the group here. What can you tell us about him before I start your video here? And it's just your video. I don't have any longer film on him. I just kind of want to move it along so that we can look at other prospects too, other than quarterbacks. Kyle Trask is our last quarterback here on the show to talk about there's a lot of people who don't really know too much about him because he's not getting his name out right now, really.
Well, his whole story's weird and it's unorthodox. The kid never even started one game in high school. He was never a high school quarterback. He goes to a camp and, his body it's Big Ben. Like, he's built like Big Ben, 6'5", 240, and not as much bad weight as Big Ben. So I'll throw that out there. A little less John Chapman diet. Anyway, so he's a big quarterback with a really, really strong arm. Now, he is not mobile. This dude has clunkers for feet. And whenever you watch him scramble, like whenever you're watching scouting film, the all 22, there's no audio, but you can kind of hear him hit every single footstep. Like he's a plotter, but you'll see him in the pocket. And Florida they didn't have a great offensive line. They had a lot of elite weapons on the outside, but you'll see defenders get their hands on the jersey and he just kind of shucks them off, stays in the pocket and makes his throw. So again, you go back to kind of the Bruce Arians, style quarterback. This, again, depending on your style, the new age, if you like Patrick Mahomes and off platform, this is not your guy. It's not who he is. Now, he probably would have been in the first round conversation, late first round, but he played in the bowl game against Oklahoma, which does not have a good defense whatsoever, and just bombed. I don't know if you saw the bowl game. It was very, very bad. So if you watch the bowl game, they pulled him 3 times in the game. That was his last game as in college.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, it was one of the most efficient years ever in NCAA history. And again, it was abbreviated season, but his numbers were great. 43 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. But again, look who he's throwing to. One of the greatest college tight ends of all time, Kyle Pitts. Kadarius Toney, I think he's a first-round wide receiver, kind of a Tyreek Hill mold. Just in question, do these elite tools on the outside make you a good quarterback, vice versa, or is it both and? And I think for Kyle Trask, I think Pittsburgh is exactly where he should go. First round's too rich, though. I think second to third round, and I think a lot of people will have Kellen Mond and David Mills ahead of him, but he has some NFL traits. There's no doubt about that. But there are some major flaws.
What about Minnesota?
I personally, I would not. I wouldn't put Kyle Trask in the Kirk Cousins mindset. I don't think he's as efficient. Personally, I don't think that's really what his game is.
They're a run-heavy team. That's why.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. You're not going to see him do a lot of bootlegs. He can do it, but that's not really his game.
All right, let's take a look and see what you said about Trask here from University of Florida.
Let's see if we can hear them footsteps.
And see that these are the things. I mean, you look at this play and you just think Ben Roethlisberger. I'm not saying that's his player comp. But because of his body, he's going to be able to do a lot of things that some of the smaller guys can't. Step straight through an arm tackle from a defensive end and for a touchdown. I mean, this play does not work with a 215-pound quarterback. The dude's a freaking tree trunk. He's stout, to say the least. And so you're going to get the defensive end come out and get his hands on him, but he's just able to step through it. He averaged 0.4 yards per carry. Big Ben's arm by any stretch. 0.4.
Wow. That's
the pocket passer.
He's got his hand on his thigh, all those things. Eye stays up, does not look down, and just steps through it. Yeah, that's a huge positive. And for NFL teams, this is a play right here that they're going to have on repeat. Again, Kyle Trask, nobody's going into the NFL draft thinking, oh, man, I hope I get Kyle Trask. Absolutely not. He's a third round draft prospect that some teams are going to like more than others. And if you miss out on the top guys, then Trask is going to be a fallback option, developmental starter. You don't want this guy being your starter, but you want to develop him into the possibility of a starter because he has certain traits that you can't teach. 6'5", 240, you can't teach that.
Kind of high risk, high reward.
Well, there's Kyle Trask. I mean, and that's not necessarily a pick for the Panthers
later on.
Yeah.
But if they were to move down, or perhaps pass on quarterback and maybe look at a quarterback in the second or third round, like you said, John, he's a possibility. So, all right, well, that's our quarterbacks, and I think we've covered a lot of them.
On kickers.
On to kickers? Yeah, no.
I got my long snappers film breakdowns done, so y'all let me know.
I think, John, what I have next is Patrick Surtain.
Oh, I love me Patrick Surtain, man.
And I know Cowboy Joe wants him for Dallas, so let's go ahead and put him on there. This is your video breaking him down, then we can talk about him.
Oh, man, he took away that route. Ooh. Like that safety play. Watch this. This is the play he got beat on earlier. He's going to kind of just stick to the outside, stem to the outside, and then come underneath on a drag. Watch him just cut this guy off. Ooh, I ran the route for you. Look at this. I'm in front of you. You're not throwing this. There's not a lot of tape of him being target technique. He's that good. You can watch the whole game and he'll have 1 or 2 targets. That's it.
Is he the type of corner that's going to remove a part of the field?
Oh, if you run a 2 safety look, okay, and this is the negative. The best thing for Patrick Surtain is we don't have a combine this year because the one area, 2 would be ball skills. He doesn't have a lot of interceptions, but nobody throws it to him, so who knows? But his top end speed, the only time he gets beat is deep. That is the issue. So if you have a safety, if you do a 2 safety offense, 2 high, cover 2, Tampa 2, whatever you want to call it, he's your number 1 corner. It's not even close. Very few, not even close.
Next, we've got Caleb Farley, who's a corner from Virginia Tech. Now, would you have Surtain ahead of him? Or, I mean, how do you rank the 2?
Okay, so personally, the 49ers, we run a cover 3 scheme with a single high safety. Caleb Farley is by far hands above everything better than Surtain in that system. You run a traditional cover 2 offense, Surtain would be ahead of Farley. So it depends on what it is that you want. The thing that separates Farley is he has way more athleticism. He was a wide receiver. He's only played corner for 2 years. He was recruited into college as a wide receiver and started his freshman year as a wide receiver. They switched him, and he's just been bananas. So ball skills, top-end speed, athleticism, Farley. But he is raw. Surtain started at Alabama as a freshman. Like, you could plug Surtain in anywhere in the NFL right now, but if you're talking about who could be a top 3 corner in the NFL, I think it's Farley. Caleb Farley has such a higher ceiling, but there's some bust potential there too.
All right, let's see what you say about him.
Few negatives: experience and physicality. Man, 6'2", 210. Ooh. That is defense right there. Watch him drive on this. No, why would you throw that? He ran the damn route. Caleb Farley, baby. His feet are all over the place. His hips freaking swinging, and it doesn't matter. This guy just doesn't give up separation. Even playing a little too high, but it doesn't matter. He just has a feel for the game. God, that's incredible.
So that technique you just saw was awful. All of it was so bad. It doesn't matter. Like, he is just always, he goes for a pick 6 every play.
Nowhere to throw that ball.
Every play.
He's on top of him. Gosh, man. Quarterback shouldn't have thrown that at all.
And he's kind of your alpha male bully, in your face, Jalen Ramsey. Like, that's who this kid is. And I think, just physically speaking, he would be amongst the top 3 to 4 corners in the NFL if all goes well. Now, there are some health concerns. He had a torn ACL, non-contact ACL in 2017. He had back spasms in 2019, but played the whole season. Opted out of the 2020 season, but he was regarded as a top 5 lock. He's the top 5 in my board. So I think Caleb Farley, if I'm the 49ers and no quarterbacks fall to me, I am hoping and praying that this guy's there at 12. He won't be, but man, that would be a perfect scenario for the 49ers.
I rank Surtain above him because Surtain's good against the run too. I don't know much about
Farley's not near as good.
He's good against the run.
Not near as good. Well, Surtain, you play secondary for Nick Saban. Yeah. I mean, you're going to be getting cussed at for 3 years of your life. Nick Saban's going to be doing. I mean, like, you got to be tough.
And if you get cursed out if you don't get cursed out by Saban, your father's definitely going to curse you out.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I was chuckling before because I noticed you changed your name, Mr. Cowboy Joe. I see that.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
When you're on the
All right, so John, now we're getting into offensive tackles here. We looked at the top corners, offensive tackle, and a lot of people are saying that Penei Sewell is the top offensive tackle. Here he is. Before we start the tape here, what do you have to say about him?
I love him. Mountain of a man, just like created in a laboratory to play in the NFL. 6'5", 325. What's it called? His uncle, Isaac Sapawoga, Richard Brown. His brother plays in Utah. His other brother plays at Oregon. His other brother plays at Nevada. Like, these guys are just bananas. Born in America, Samoa, came to the United States when he was 12 years old. The guy has it all. Now, he opted out of 2020 as well. But how do you draft? Do you draft for the safest, ready to go now? Or do you draft for what they can be? Penei Sewell can be one of the best in the NFL. Now, again, scheme specific wise, he fits every scheme. He'd probably be better in a power scheme than a zone scheme. But yeah, let's roll the tape and you can kind of see he's off the charts here at left tackle. Let's see him get out in space. It's out there. Gosh, just buries that dude. He's a movement guy. Again, zone teams are going to have him. I don't see how he gets past number 5 to Cincinnati. He's just too clean, too young, and size plus movement. They just don't happen very often where they're this fluid. And watch this drop step and get out into the open. You're not going to be able to see the whole play here, but he just gets out there with ease and just buries people. Look at him talking trash, too. He's got some dog to him. There's no doubt about that. And, movement, power, and his hands. We didn't get to see it in that one, but whenever he puts his hands on people, they feel it. And you can constantly see the defender's kind of head pop back whenever he punches. You look at his 2019 stats, which he didn't play in 2020, 0 sacks allowed, 2 quarterback hits. And that was it. I mean, the guy, he's only played left tackle, and he's special. He's special. And it depends on your scheme, okay? You're doing a power scheme, I would put him 1. If, again, like the 49ers zone scheme, Rashawn Slater, and you don't look back. He is that good.
See.
And, sorry, go ahead, Brittany.
No, I was going to say if Sewell is at number 8, I mean, I would be happy to have him in Carolina. Yes. He gets the Brittany seal of approval. And and I'm thinking of this from a scheme perspective. If you line him up to the left and have Moton at the right, it's gold. That is just boom,
They would have their left tackle for the next 10 years. They would have their next Jordan Gross.
And
they haven't had that for a long time. So I mean, I can see that.
I feel like we have been missing the Jordan Gross kind of type.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you had a good left tackle in Orr, but the concussion, unfortunately.
Right. The concussion was
Yeah. Well, here's Rashawn Slater.
All right.
Let's see what you say about him. He's the other offensive tackle that we would potentially be looking at 8.
And in this clip, I think he's going against Chase Young. Yeah.
Ooh, he put him on the ground. He put Chase Young on the ground. Ooh. You love to see it, man. 1-on-1. Now, you do have the illusion of help with your running back here. Oh, tries to slip his hands, regathers. I wouldn't call this really a pancake block. He's trying to spin out to go get to the quarterback, but it don't matter. There is no doubt who wins this rep. None whatsoever. You're talking about going against the defensive rookie of the year last year and handling him on this play. Mind you, there's more than one play in this. I wish Chase Young just stayed on that side, though. Ooh. It translates. It translates. Ah. And the funny thing about this, Chase Young, I think, had 2.5 sacks this game, none against Rashawn Slater. All of his success came on the other side of it because he bounces back and forth right and left side. And so whenever you're looking at Rashawn Slater, Northwestern, 6'3", 314. So, a little bit shorter, a little bit lighter, doesn't have as long reach of arms, but his mobility is number one. He had his pro day yesterday and ran a 4.8. A 4.8. I mean, it's...
And what I like about him is I feel like he's the best type of technician as far as a lineman goes. Okay, so he doesn't really have the length and the size, like you mentioned. His size is a big factor, but I feel like what he has in makes up for it. If that
if you value the run game,
right?
But he's not a bruiser, kind of like Sewell is,
Right.
Sewell just going and smash you.
Exactly. And so one of the things that Rashawn Slater's great, we didn't get to see in that clip, he is the best second level blocker in the run game.
Right.
The best. He could play all 5 positions. Okay. So if you just he's played left tackle and right tackle, some teams will have him graded as a center and he could step in day one and be a center. He can play guard just fine in any scheme whatsoever, but getting to the second level combo blocks, it's crazy how quick he is. his 3-cone time was pretty close to DK Metcalf's. Like that's the athleticism that this kid has, and he is strong, very strong.
But my concern is like it might be too far of a reach to take him at 8, though. But stranger things have happened.
I think that it's more likely. Right. It's more likely he'll go in the top 10. Then he'll fall outside the top 10. He's up there. Several teams will have him number 1. The 49ers, he will be the number 1 tackle on their board. So if they don't sign Trent Williams, that's the guy that you want to get. But I don't think there's any way he lasts till 12.
Well, like I said, it's not a boo-worthy pick if Carolina takes somebody.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about. They come off the board and all you do is
you'll know if it's a boo-worthy pick. You'll know because
Goodell style boos.
me sitting here nodding like that's my okay. Yes, I hear. Yeah, and then I throw my commentary in here and there. But trust me, like you saw like with Mac Jones, I was like, I'll say it. I don't.
So let's go back to Dylan Redunz here, John.
All right.
And this is the North Dakota State left tackle for Trey Lance. And you break him down right here.
All right, Redunz here. Got a tight end and a wing set. Oh, gosh. Look how he crashed down. Holy cow. He's at his best when he down blocks, man. He's just going to kill this guy and get to the second level. Watch Redunz. Boom. Gets on. He understands crashing. But I think he wrestled in his past, I swear. Hips, gets his hands on his hips, then watch him turn and then cut off the backer. That is so damn hard to do. Block one guy all the way to his right, then stop and come back and block to his left. I mean, he gets it. That's an inside zone or power scheme. Gosh. So many things to like from these two, just freaking studs. I don't care if it's North Dakota State. These guys are going to be good pros. Look at the second level. Sit down. He's not done with you. Sit down again. Oh, you want some more? Oh, 490. All right, here we go. Double pancakes. Order up. Let's see it. Incredible. All right, gets off to the second level.
Yeah.
And then just overpowers him. Puts him in the ground. This guy's going to try to get up. Nope. In the ground again. You stay down.
I love it.
He's a walking highlight. That's what the rule is.
I love it.
Sorry. Yeah, you want this guy to fight with you, like in the
one time to the ground.
You take him to the bars. Right. That's where he belongs.
Get up.
Nasty.
Second time to the ground.
Yes.
Man, that is rough. That's not nice. That's not nice. And another thing about him, Joe Staley, sorry to keep bringing it back to the 49ers, because their season was postponed, he's been working exclusively with Joe Staley all year. Since Joe's retired now, he doesn't know what to do with his time, took a liking to this kid, and he's been working out with him exclusively. Just cannot say enough about him. This is somebody that could go late first, early second. I think that he's going to creep up close to the first round. I really, really do. So if Carolina does go quarterback without trading their second round pick, this is a match made in heaven. Pair this up with a quarterback. Holy cow.
I don't know if you mentioned it, but he didn't allow a sack in 2019.
That is correct.
He has a very strong run. Okay. And if you run Christian behind him, like this is how my mind is thinking, run CMC behind him and if the quarterback is in the cards, obviously for round one, this is who I would be comfortable with Carolina taking at round two for sure.
Yeah. Well, Joe will know this. Why did Emmitt Smith get all those yards? He ran behind Larry Allen.
Larry Allen, baby.
We have Larry
Williams.
He ran behind Larry Allen's big body.
All right, so hey, John, we got one more prospect to go over here tonight's show, and before we get to that, I just want to say again, thanks for breaking this down. And hopefully, I've already learned a lot.
I've learned a lot too.
Hopefully, our fans have as well. But this is a potential Luke Kuechly replacement here. This is Micah Parsons of Penn State, middle linebacker. And we know how important a middle linebacker is to a defense. And
I'm just putting up the heart right now.
Last year.
Stand.
So, let's just I'll play the tape and then we can kind of briefly talk about him here. But here's Micah Parsons, linebacker, Penn State.
I stand you.
Okay, empty set again. Oh, he's blitz. Oh my gosh. I'm
Mm.
telling you. Oh, fumble. Got him.
Nastiness.
Got him.
I love it. Ooh.
Man, he's good.
Excited.
6 career forced fumbles. He only played 2 years, guys. Here you can see him. Empty set. Watch him time up this blitz. Whew. Micah Parsons, 6'2", 245. He's so good blitzing. Just times it up perfectly. Gets in there, knocks the ball out. I wish he would not celebrate so early.
First.
Yep. Damn, that is good. I mean, just watch how he times it so well.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Him in some Burns action.
Poor center. Watch this center. He's not going to touch anybody.
No.
You get your quarterback killed. That's all this moving around stunt stuff. But watch the center here. He's going to be left all alone. Oh, you got one guy. Oh,
center's like, what did
that hole was like.
Somebody's going to take a chance on this kid. The character's an issue. There's no doubt. But the production is there. The elite traits are there. The production's there. I mean, he just has everything. He's got everything. So Mike Parsons, I'll say this. He is the textbook player that your head coach wants. The question is going to be, is quarterback such a big need that you're going to bypass somebody like Micah Parsons that is exactly what you want with your team? I mean, I love this guy. I think he's one of the best blitzing linebackers we've seen in a decade. He could be an edge rusher and would still be a first-round pick. That's how significant he is. But whenever you watch him inside out, he's going to be a Pro Bowl linebacker year one. That's how good he's going to be.
I mean, honestly, I think overall he's probably the most talented player in the draft. You know, he's quick. He, you know, he's very, especially with the run pass, you know, and the way
he's a game changer with the turnovers.
The way he's able to diagnose and find holes and get that pressure is really, you know, that's something that can't always be taught. That's something you either know.
Is he a need for Carolina, though, or is he a want?
Or is he a want? Exactly. And I think that's, you know, do I really feel like he's like a glaring need? I mean, I wouldn't boo. I like I said, I stan him, you know, I like him. I think, as I said, he's probably the most, you know, talented, but I think, you know, the quarterback is probably going to be.
You look good in a Cowboy star, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I'll say this, you know, the character concerns are there. If you're not familiar with the Penn State hazing stuff and all that stuff, and having said all those things,
don't have any character concerns.
Matt Rule, Matt Rule from
Pennsylvania,
took over Baylor.
Very high on character, so I don't know if.
Well, Jerry don't care about that.
Right.
Jerry does not. You get bumped up if you have character concerns. If you're a Cowboys.
If you have a fellow charge, the Cowboys will sign you to an extension if you play for them already, or they'll draft you if you don't.
Land of second chances is what we call it.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we're at the tail end of the show, I kind of want to ask everybody here on the panel, and John, you can throw in a pick too. Who do you want Carolina to take at 8, or do you want them to move up? What's your move? What's your pick? We'll start with you, Brittany.
All right, what's up? So I want Trey. Give me Trey.
You think you're going to have to move up to get him?
Hold on him.
I'm sold on him. I want him. I see it. My little, like, you know, target is locked. And if we are being as aggressive as we are in the free, you know, in you know, the market with the Deshaun Watson rumors, how aggressively we supposedly pursued Matt Stafford, there's no reason why we can't get up and get this guy, Trey. Boom.
What if they moved up? What if they moved up to get Trey Lawrence, to get Trey Lance, and maybe Justin Fields was still on the board?
Who's on the board?
Fields.
Trey over
Trey,
Lance.
I would take Trey.
Are you okay with them moving up to get him, or would you rather? Obviously, it'd be great to get him at 8, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. You have other teams that are going to be looking to trade with Detroit or Atlanta, or you know,
you can make a trade with the Dolphins.
Right.
The Dolphins might go receiver, so you can make a deal with them.
Yeah, that's possible.
But the Dolphins also need a line, and those linemen are not going to be there in the later rounds.
Right.
Although Miami has 2 picks in the first round, they have a lot of picks, but they have 2 picks in the first round, right? So, It's interesting. So, all right. So Trey Lance is your pick. Cowboy
Trey
Joe.
Lance.
What's your pick?
The Cowboys.
What's your Panthers pick, man?
No brainer.
I love this guy.
You could read my logo in the bottom right there, my name. Like I say.
All right.
Honestly, I think you guys go line if you could work out a deal with Watson.
Oof. But they're not going to have a pick if they do a deal with Watson. That's
Right.
Yes, but you can still build that line. You need to build that line.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, here's my pick, and then I'll get to yours, John. I like the call of Trey Lance. He's 20 years old. He's the youngest quarterback in this draft. He can sit for a little bit. Maybe they still keep Teddy. Granted that they've already. It seems like they've already had kind of like some burned the bridges there. I don't really know the whole story.
He unfollowed them. That was interesting. He unfollowed on Instagram. That was like the whole thing.
That's a little iffy. But
Yeah.
if he's like the next Josh Allen or somewhat close to that, I'm just hoping for like a Russell Wilson light. I mean, he could be the story of the franchise here in the next in the coming years. So I like that pick. I like that call. If they got Justin Fields, I think it would kind of be like a repeat of Cam Newton, kind of like what you said, John, without as much athleticism. And I'm not sure I want that.
No,
I'm not sure I want Justin Fields.
I don't.
Well, Justin, it's not that you don't like Justin. It's like he said, Justin's just number 4 on the board. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't think he really,
He
did. And Zach Wilson.
I don't want a lackluster Cam Newton. Like after having Cam Newton, I don't want lackluster Cam Newton.
Well, he just didn't. Well, the video and all that just didn't wow you as much as Trey, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm all about being loud.
What's your pick, John?
But if you guys think about this, all right, you guys are saying you want quarterback and all that. But what happened to Cam? What happened to these quarterbacks, Kyle Allen? It's the protection. If you got no protection, you're not going to be able to have a Lance out there.
Our O-line has been a gaping issue for a very long time. Longer than I care to admit.
From my concern, if I'm thinking offensively, if I'm thinking for the future, I want to build that line. First of all, I want to protect whoever's back here. I want to protect McCaffrey, which I signed for a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, we can get this. Well, we'll get into Carolina's line. I got a couple scenarios, but John, what's your pick?
Yeah, I think that you guys will go quarterback just because of how aggressive you have been. And I don't think you guys sit still. I think that you guys will move up. I think Cincinnati's just a perfect natural trade partner because they don't need a quarterback. I think that you guys, if you just look at the math of the deal, you give up this year's 1st and 3rd rounder and next year's 2nd to jump up to number 5.
Not
That's not a bad.
You take Justin Fields. I'm saying I think you'll take Justin Fields personally. I just think there's a bit just because of the premium on athleticism that Matt Rule loves. You get a tackle in the 2nd round, which there's still going to be some quality ones there, whether it's Redunst, Daniel Cosme, any of those things. I think it's just a perfect fit. You guys are getting a quarterback. I have no stress for you guys. Now the Niners, I'm stressed, man. But I think you guys, I think you're going to get your quarterback. He's just been so aggressive. I think it continues.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of the 49ers? Do you think it's Farley?
I wish if he falls that far. But J.C. Horn, another cornerback out of South Carolina. We've drafted back-to-back players, Deebo Samuel and Javon Kinlaw from that school. And I think they're going to go with a team that they can trust. So I think that's going to be the pick there.
Well, the way you're talking, though, it sounds like I was going to ask you this anyway. Is this the end of the Garoppolo era? Do you try to trade him in draft?
No, even if the 49ers do draft a quarterback, Garoppolo stays this year just because the championship window's open. I think they don't want to trade away Garoppolo and then just roll with a rookie. I don't think that's Kyle Shanahan. Yeah. He's weird with quarterbacks. Even when they traded for Jimmy, he didn't touch the field for 5 weeks.
You guys owe Jimmy nothing. You can cut him and you save $24 million in the cap space. So you owe him nothing at this point. So it's no harm, no foul.
Right.
If you wait till like June.
June. Then the cap hits like 1.4 million.
Right,
every June 1st. So, like I said,
that's numbers. I love it.
That's it. That's just what I see. It's no harm, no foul with Jimmy. But if you're gonna, I'd play the market with him. Like Carolina, I wouldn't. If you guys just wanted a mid pick, I'd give it for him. But hey, if you guys are sticking with him, then you're sticking with him. He's talented.
I think we will. I think we will for this year. But yeah, we'll see. The fact they haven't restructured him tells you they're not sure he's in the long-term plans. And a lot of that just has to do with health. But you guys, y'all are Panthers fans. You know about quarterback health.
Do we ever? Womp womp.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Brittany. My bad.
Well, guys.
I'm numb. Like I'm numb.
Wait, we want to get into Carolina's line though.
Mm.
I mean, if they landed in second round, even if they traded up for what is it, redundance?
Redunds. Yeah.
They already got Moten.
Yeah, Moten was great.
He was the best right tackle. He created out the highest.
Yeah.
Paradis.
We just need the left.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you get
right.
you put him at left.
You got Moten at right, and then
you have your center. He's coming back. And now here's an interesting thing. San Diego is shopping Trey Turner. What if they just want like a 4th or 5th round pick for Trey Turner? Do you bring him back and restructure his deal?
Well, the funny thing is about that, you guys are getting the comp pick. You could trade the comp pick that you got for losing Okung and get him back for free. I mean, you guys are ripping them off left and right.
Yeah,
who knows?
I love it.
I would bring Trey Turner back. That's a solid guard right there. And then you re-sign Chris Reed to play the other side.
I had no issues.
And then it's game over.
Yeah, no.
Game over. Just that simple.
Well, okay. Well, then you don't got to worry about the line. That's the way I look at it. Then you got a solid line right there. You got Redundance. I can't say his name right. Redundance, Moten, Turner, Paradis, and Reed. That's a pretty good line right there.
Yeah.
It's got to get a tight end now.
Yep, needs everywhere. Hopefully they can fill some spots in free agency too. We might know a lot more in a couple weeks.
Right.
Like what areas they don't necessarily need to target early on in the draft, and kind of go from there. So we kind of went over a little bit here, John, but we appreciate you coming on. Yeah, your knowledge is very much appreciated.
It was really, I loved how you just took the time to break down the tape with us and like really highlight these guys' strengths and weaknesses. Like I had said to the guys before this show started, like, you know, when it comes to the draft, I start to look at the college people, but like I need to, now that I'm gonna be an official Carolinian, I need to get more into college football and have that.
I love it.
I'm a Clemson fan by trade, but you know,
move over Kuiper.
Yeah, but you know, I do need to, you know, as far as college ball goes, I usually wait till like the draft and then I'm scrambling. I'm like, let me look at this guy's highlights. Let me, you know. But I learned a lot from you, so thanks.
I appreciate it. And I'll say this. I hope you don't mind, Jeff, if I throw a little shameless plug in there real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if you do like these breakdowns, I do all of them on my Patreon account. I just started a brand new one for non-49ers. I have my own 49ers page, but you guys aren't interested in that. Just NFL draft film, which we have over 50 hours of breakdown up already, and it's still growing. Just over draft prospects in this class. So if you go to patreon.com, type in NFL draft, it's going to be the one that pulls up there. So patreon.com/NFL draft. If you want to join, check it out. You get access immediately. And then if you don't like it, you can cancel anytime.
Nice.
Awesome. Well,
now
great.
I know with that site with Patreon, there's different tiers. Is there like different like breakdowns like?
All the breakdowns are the same, but the tiers are different. If like you want to request like, hey, can you break down this, 6th round, my cousin's a friend of whatever, then I'll do those. So yeah, there are different tiers. You get access to all the same tape. But that's all there. And you can reach out to me at JL_Chapman. My DMs are always open. Any questions, be happy to help out.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yes, thanks for coming on. And Panthers fans, we hope that you enjoyed that. And coming up in 2 weeks, we've got Expand the Box Score. Andy Singleton coming on. And also one of his draft scouts will be joining us too. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We'll talk more about prospects, of course. And thanks again, John. We will check out your site. We'll put it in the comments as well, so you can find that.
Now too.
Thanks to Panthers SI for sponsoring us and helping us get the word out to our Panthers fans. And thanks so much, man. John?
And thank you, viewers, for watching us and hearing what we have to say.
Exactly.
Thanks for letting us come into your home or your phone and watching us break down these picks. We appreciate you.
Go Cowboys.
Exactly.
Keep pounding.
Ouch. Ouch.
And we are out.
Christian McCaffrey in the open field, inside the 30, inside the 20. McCaffrey